What if I told you the most advanced smartphone Apple has ever made is also its biggest step backward in a decade? We are well into 2026 now, and the iPhone 17 Pro has become the most polarizing device I have ever sat on this desk. It features desktop-level power that literally rivals an iPad, yet it is wrapped in a body that users are calling a scratch magnet. Is this a sculptural masterpiece, or did Apple just sell us an $1,100 beta test? You need to know the truth before you drop your trade-in credit. Let us address the elephant in the room, or rather the giant rectangle on the back. Apple calls it the Camera Plateau. Reviewers are calling it lumpy, ungainly, and even a bit of a pixel ripoff. Now, I want you to imagine holding your phone for a long YouTube session. This thing has gained weight, pushing it over the 200-gram mark, and because that camera bar is so massive, the phone feels top-heavy. It leads to what I call pinky fatigue. But the real controversy is the material. Apple ditched the premium titanium from the 16 Pro and went back to aluminum. They claim it is aerospace grade, but in the real world we are looking at Scratchgate 2.0. If you choose that bold cosmic orange, which looks stunning in the sun by the way, be warned, the anodized coating is thin. I have seen units where the silver metal peeks through after just a few case changes. Seriously, look at this plateau design. Does it look like ProTech to you, or does it look like an ugly Android clone? Let me know in the comments if you miss the old sleek camera islands or if you actually like this change. So why did Apple downgrade to aluminum? This is where we see a classic battle of trade-offs. The A19 Pro chip is an absolute monster. Think of it like a Ferrari engine, but if you put a Ferrari engine in a closed box, it melts. Titanium is a terrible heat conductor. It traps heat like a heavy winter coat. Aluminum, however, acts like a giant radiator. Apple even threw in a vapor chamber cooling system, basically a tiny plumbing system with deionized water to move heat away from the chip. And it works. In our tests, this phone stays significantly cooler during gaming, staying around 29 degrees Celsius, while the old 16 Pro was hitting toasty levels of 40 degrees. But here is the U factor. Does that matter for your daily scroll? The performance is incredible, but the software trying to run it is a whole other story involving some very weird noises, but we will get to that hissing in a minute. First, we have to talk about the screen. Apple is marketing this as a 3000 nit display. To put that in perspective, that is like holding a lighthouse in your hand. It sounds great for the beach, right? Well, here is the catch. Think of those 3000 nits like a sprint. The phone can hit that brightness for a minute, but it gets so hot that the software kicks in and dims the screen to 50% almost immediately to save itself. You are left with a screen that is actually harder to see than before. Then there is the screen protector trap. Apple added this fancy anti-reflective coating that makes the screen look deep and inky. But the second you put a standard glass screen protector on it, the benefit is gone. You are back to 2024 levels of glare. So here's a question for you. Would you rather have a screen that is super bright but dims itself after 5 minutes, or a slightly dimmer screen that stays consistent all day? Let me know your preference below. Moving to the cameras, the system is now a triple threat of 48 megapixel sensors. The headline feature is the 8x optical quality zoom. But let us be real with the terminology here. It is not an 8x lens, it is a 4x lens with a high resolution crop. In broad daylight, it is crisp. It is arguably the best portrait focal length Apple has ever delivered. But at night, it struggles. Apple's aggressive AI processing kicks in, and suddenly your friends' faces look like over-processed cartoons. The noise reduction is so heavy, it smooths over the very details you bought a Pro phone for. And for the vloggers, dual capture is finally here. You can record with the front and back cameras at the same time. But Apple locks you into their single layout. You cannot even get a 50-50 split. It feels like they're giving us features third-party apps had 5 years ago. We also need to talk about iOS 26. Apple went with this new liquid glass UI. It is full of blurs, transparency, and shifting colors. It looks professional, but it eats battery like a monster. We have seen power spikes just from opening the control center, and then there is the charging hiss. Multiple users, and yes, our unit too, report a literal static hissing sound coming from the speakers while the phone is plugged in. Combine that with Apple intelligence features that still feel like they are in beta, and you start to wonder if we are paying top dollar just to be Apple's quality control department. What is worse to you, a phone that is slightly buggy at launch, or a phone that feels physically cheap because of a material change? What is your personal deal breaker? So, is the iPhone 17 Pro worth it in 2026? If you are a professional creator or a hardcore mobile gamer, the answer is probably yes. The 12 gigabytes of random access memory and the vapor chamber cooling give you a performance ceiling that no other phone has. But for everyone else, honestly, look at the standard iPhone 17. This year, the base model finally got the 120Hz ProMotion display. It has the same upgraded selfie camera. It is $300 cheaper, and because it does not have the polarizing plateau, it actually fits in your pocket better. For me, the lack of titanium and the Scratchgate issues are a huge compromise for a luxury device. But what is the one compromise you absolutely refuse to make on a phone? Tell me in the comments, and if this video helped you make a decision, hit that like button. I will see you in the next one.